Hey, and welcome to the Chef's Table, a weekly video series for culinary entrepreneurs who want to monetize their skills outside of the kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Evelyn. This is the place for successful women who want to live, cook, and work on their own terms. So if that's you, let's get started. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the Chef's Table. I am Chef Evelyn, and I help chefs monetize their skills outside of the kitchen and create multiple streams of income. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So listen, with everything that's been going on in our industry right now, I think it is super important to have multiple streams of income. It's something that I've been saying for years. If you've been following this channel for any amount of time, probably for the past 3 years for sure, I've been talking about creating multiple streams of income. I've taught classes, I coach my clients on how to create multiple streams of income, but I want to give you a little bit of insight today so you can get started on creating multiple streams of income. Now, let me tell you, before we get into that, let me tell you why this is so important. And I'm pretty sure you are aware now more than ever, but let me tell you when I came to this realization. It was several years ago when I was ending culinary school and I was on my internship. And I remember I was working for a guy, and if you've watched any of my videos, you might have heard the story before, but it bears repeating, okay? If this is your first time here, welcome. And so I remember I was working for a guy in a catering company. It was a great catering company. I really learned a lot while I was there. And I remember, but he was older and he was talking about that he was ready to retire. And so I remember him saying, like, I really want to retire, but if I close my business down, then I close my source of income down. And, it was the same thing, like whether or not he went on vacation. Like if he went on vacation, if he wasn't there, the money wasn't there. And I remember him saying, like, I feel stuck. I don't know what to do outside of trying to sell his equipment and his contacts, sell his business, which was a one-time, influx of income. He was like, I don't know what else to do. And I remember him asking me if I wanted to buy his business. And I remember thinking, if you're in that situation, I can play the movie and fast forward and know that I'll be in a similar situation. And it was at that moment that I was like, wow, okay, I switched careers from engineering to be a chef, and I love this, and I wouldn't mind, having my own business, because I didn't have my own business at the time. But it was at that moment that I was like, well, I'm going to have to do this differently, because whether it was catering or personal chefing or doing dinner parties or doing meal prep or any of that, nothing was wrong with that, but it by itself was risky, right? And I didn't want to have a restaurant, but even if I had a restaurant, right, that yes, I could own the restaurant and other people could work it, but I still would have to be actively involved. And I didn't really have the desire to have a restaurant, nor did I have the desire to have a catering company, but I knew that I didn't want to be an employee. I knew that I wanted to work for myself. And that was the moment where I was like, I've got to figure out how I can take my love for food and have multiple streams of income so that I'm not stuck the way he's stuck. So as we get into this today, I'm pretty sure what you've seen going on in our industry is very heartbreaking to see people who've had amazing businesses, but at the same time had all their eggs in one basket. And it's such a cliche phrase, and it's not about trying to shame people or whatever. They had successful businesses, and most Americans, most people, whether they are entrepreneurs or chefs or not, have all their eggs in one basket, whether all their eggs is a job, whether all their eggs is the one stream of income in their business, whether it's their one product or service. And that can be a little risky when things outside of our control, outside of human control, enter into our lives, whether it be an illness, whether it be, what's going on right now, whether it be like you just want to take off, whether, life happens, whatever the case may be, that you need options, right? It's about having options. So I want to walk you through the 5 things that I think you need to do to get on the path to creating multiple streams of income. So the first thing is you really need to establish a clear culinary point of view, which is, what do people get when they get you? If you do everything under the sun and you're talking to everyone and your services are to everyone, no one is listening. One of the things that I work with my students with and my clients with is walking them through a process on how to get clear on their culinary point of view, because when you can cook everything, you have the skills to cook everything, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to lead with that, right? And so getting really clear on what you offer, why you offer it, is really important, because it will allow you to create multiple streams of income based on that culinary point of view, and it would allow the people who are looking for what you're offering to come to you. Okay. The second thing is you need to establish your signature product or service. Okay. So whatever you want to be known for, you need to establish that. And then you need to go deep with that and get that really established before you try to go wide. So a lot of times people want to do multiple streams of income off the bat, right? They want to do several things off the bat. And it's like, you're going to have a whole bunch of little bitty bushes versus having a tree with deep roots that's growing tall and producing fruit. And then you can go on to the next item. Okay, so you need to establish your signature product or service. What do you want to be known for? What do you want to lead with? And then go deep before you go wide. The third thing is you need to put it all together and have the systems in place. Like, here's the thing about having multiple streams of income. It's a juggling act to know what ball's up in the air, what ball is at rest, what ball you're going to pick up later. And if you don't have systems in place to help you manage that, even your signature product or service, it's going to be exhausting. It's going to be all over the place, and you're not really going to know how to make them work in harmony. It's going to seem very discombobulated, disjointed, and that leads to frustration and burnout, right? Because they all need to be connected, but they also each are going to be very different in the way that you do them, and the systems and the processes and the technology and the automation that you need for each income stream is going to be very, very different. So you need to have your systems and your processes in place. The fourth thing you have to do is ask yourself, now that I know what my signature product or service is, how can I express this in multiple ways, right? You have to ask yourself a different question. When you ask yourself a different question, you get a different answer. One of the things I wanted to do is I asked myself, how can I Airbnb my business? How can I Uber my business, right? Because I think about Airbnb, they are a hotel company that doesn't own real estate, right? Uber or Lyft or any kind of ride-sharing company is a taxi company that doesn't own cars. They don't have any inventory. So whatever you want to do, if you have ideas, ask yourself, is there another way that I can do this? Is there another way that I can express this? And the last thing is you need to build one stream at a time. Don't try to turn them all on at the same time. It's kind of like you want to start a recipe, cook it to completion, you want to mise en place it, and then you want to cook it, right? But if you're mising over here and then you're kind of cooking over there and then you're mising over there and you're kind of cooking over there while you're doing a meal versus mising everything out from the beginning, it's going to be a little bit more work. It's going to be frustrating. Some things may fall through the cracks. You may mess some things up. You may burn some things up. You may lose some dishes completely. So you may lose some money if you're trying to do them all at the same time. So when you're thinking about creating multiple streams of income, those are the things that you need to consider. Now, what I do is I take my client, like that sounds simple. Those are 5 steps, right? But I take my clients through a really detailed from beginning to end process on how to do that. That's what we do in my high level mastermind. But if you're just trying to get started and you've got your signature product or service and you're like, I'm just looking for what I need to do next, walk through these 5 steps and it should take you some time. Now, obviously, I believe that you need guidance because you're going at it alone and it's like you don't know what you don't know. And anybody that's been successful in any area of their life has guidance. Just because a team wins the Super Bowl doesn't mean they fire the coach. Just because somebody wins the Masters doesn't mean they don't have a coach, right? Just because somebody wins the Grammy doesn't mean they don't have a vocal coach. So I have a coach. I'm a business strategist or a brand strategist. And it's like I have people who are ahead of me who are where I'm trying to go, or have been where I'm trying to go, and they can help me kind of navigate through that. If that's you, then maybe you should consider scheduling a consultation with me. and investing in yourself in that way to kind of see where you are and where you want to go next. So kind of like when you book an appointment with your doctor, you go, you pay your fee, and you tell them the symptoms that you have going on. They run tests on you, or they ask you a whole bunch of questions about your symptoms, and then they give you a prescription, right? Whether that prescription is for a pill, whether that prescription is for a surgery, whatever the case may be, they give you a prescription. It's the same thing when it comes to your business. I tell people all the time, I was like, if your car is not working the way you want it to work, you take it into a mechanic. You pay the mechanic to run a diagnostic on your car. They tell you everything that's wrong and what you need to fix. And then they tell you how much that's going to be. And so if you're like, you know what, I do need a diagnostic on my business. I've got all my eggs in one basket, or girl, I don't have a basket at all, and I need to know where to start or what to do next, then I encourage you to schedule a call with me. I'll ask you a lot of questions. I'll get to really know what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go in your business, what's been going on, what has been happening, what's been working, what hasn't been working. And then we'll talk about what you need to go next. That may be a tool or resource. It may be, maybe you need to work with me. Maybe you need to be in one of my programs. Maybe not. Maybe you need somebody else. So anyway, that is my video on how to create multiple streams of income. I hope that you find it helpful. And if you need additional business advice, I've got a whole playlist of like over 40 videos about how to grow your business and create multiple streams of income. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Thank you so much for watching. If you're ready to make the transition from employee to entrepreneur, then make sure to register for From Corporate to Culinary. From Corporate to Culinary is a mini course designed to help professional women begin the process of following their passion. So whether you are still on the fence about following your dreams, or you have already leaped from the corporate ladder, From Corporate to Culinary equips you with the tools you need to live, cook, and work on your own terms. For more details and to register, go to FromCorporateToCulinary.com. Now, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you never miss a new episode. And to see what I'm cooking up behind the scenes, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook as Chef Evelyn. That's all for today, and I'll see you next week. Peace.